I am back out here with this beauty of a plane, Volantex Ranger 600, the new 4-channel version. It is not only a sub 250 gram plane, it is a sub 70 gram plane with the stock LiPo in it. I think my all-up weight was 69.6 grams, 69.6 or 69.8 grams, less than 70 grams. I don't know how they're making this so light. 600mm wingspan, but it is the best beginner plane that I've flown to date. Very little wind out here today, which is fantastic. So let's see, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference right now. There's a little bit of wind there. Okay, so I've been launching it at about 60% throttle. I think that you're going to be able to launch this just fine at 50% throttle. I've got my timer set for 7 minutes. I have it in beginner mode. So just a moderate check with an upward angle at 50% throttle. I think it's going to take off just fine. So let's test that. Alright, launching. Takes right off. Takes right off 50% throttle. It'll actually cruise around at about 45% throttle. what an awesome little plane. Okay, let's get it going straight here. Alright. That's completely hands off. Completely hands off. Okay, I'm going to turn it back this way. I'm going to throttle back a little bit. Oh, the battery that I have in it, I put a 1S 500 milliamp hour LiPo in it, and that LiPo weighs 2 grams more than the stock LiPo. So if I remember correctly, the stock LiPo, I think, weighs 9.9 grams, and this LiPo weighs 11.9 grams. So exactly 2 grams heavier. Okay, so I want to climb up a little bit. And I just want to cut the motor and see how well it glides. Alright, let's come back this way, away from the sun. Straighten it up. Alright, the motor is off. The motor is off. Check that out. Awesome glide. Look at that. Alright. I'll put a little power in it. How's that for a glide? Fantastic, man. I am having so much fun with this plane. And it has a nice tight turn radius with just ailerons. With just aileron. I'm just going to put in aileron. With aileron, it makes a nice coordinated turn. You don't even have to put in any rudder. That's fantastic. Look at that. And I'm not even putting in, I'm putting in about 3/4. I'm putting in about 3/4 of the aileron. And look how nice a coordinated turn and how small of an area you can fly it in. I'm going to cut the throttle back a little bit. It's climbing just a little bit with about 55% throttle. Cutting it back some more. Just aileron. Let me see where my throttle is. Yeah, I'm about 45% throttle right now. About 45% throttle. I'm putting a little bit of elevator now on the turn. Getting a little bit of a breeze now. I wasn't here when I launched. But look at that. Look at that. What a fantastic flying little plane. Just aileron. I'm just inputting aileron, a little bit of rudder in the turns. I mean a rudder. A little bit of elevator in the turn just to keep the nose up. And that's it. That's all I'm using. How easy is that? A little bit of elevator. Check that out. Man, that is just awesome. What an excellent beginner plane. He's a beauty. Just an absolute beauty. What do you guys think of that? Is that awesome or is that awesome? Look how slow. Cruise around at 45% throttle. I bet you could keep it in the air for 20 minutes. Oh, maybe not that long. Maybe 12, 15. Well, I don't know. This is the first time I've had a 500 milliamp hour LiPo in it. It's a WL Toys 1S 500 milliamp hour LiPo. It says it's a 25C, so it should be able to provide 12.5 amps. I can't imagine that this little power system on here will pull more than about 3 amps with that little 2510. Look, do you see how slow that is? With that little 2510 two-blade pump on it. But what an awesome little cruiser beginner plane. Motor is on a pylon in the back, so if they nose it in, you're not having to worry about damaging the motor or the prop. Feels like I've got about a 3 to 4 miles per hour wind out here right now. So even though it's light, less than 70 grams all up weight, or with this 500 milliamp hour LiPo, it's about 71 grams, I think. But look at that. Look at that. Is that awesome or is that awesome? Fully assembled. The only thing you have to do is put 4 AA batteries in the transmitter, charge up your flight batteries, and you're ready to go. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. Look at that. Look how slow. Do you see how tight of a turn that was? I'm in beginner mode. And that wasn't full aileron. That was not full aileron. Like 3/4 aileron. If you got a large backyard, you could fly this in your backyard. You could fly this in a gymnasium in the wintertime. You know what I bet this would be good for? Really good for? Putting one of those little all-in-one FPV cameras on it in a gymnasium in the wintertime. Okay, I'm going to increase throttle a little bit because I've used up quite a bit of my battery. There's my 7-minute timer. Alright. Hands off. Completely hands off. Alright, I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to bring it back. That is so fun. That is so fun. Okay. I got it. I can't run the battery out of my camera constantly, so I'm going to bring it back around here. We're going to land it, and I'm going to, wow, getting a bit of a breeze over there. I'm going to bring it in here, over the dirt. Throttle's off. I'm just gliding, gliding. Look at that. Look at that. How easy is that, guys? I am absolutely loving this little plane. This is the best beginner plane I've flown. I don't think I've ever had one where I could just set the throttle at about 45% and just fly around real slow like that. And the only thing I was inputting was aileron. And because I was flying at low altitude, every once in a while I'd have to input some elevator to bring the nose up. But if you gain a little altitude on it, the only thing you're going to have to do is input aileron to make your turns. I mean, this is going to be a fantastic plane for someone who's never flown an RC plane before. You know, it's that easy. And bringing it in for a landing, you know, cut your throttle back to about 40%, glide it in toward you. When you're about, I don't know, 20 meters away, just cut the motor completely off and just glide it in. Easy peasy. I'm absolutely loving it. It's a fantastic looking little plane too. So there's an exclusive link to it for Ground Control RC in the show notes. There is an exclusive coupon code for Ground Control RC in the show notes, which is supposed to bring the price down to $112. Now, I can't believe that this plane was only priced at $139 when it's a brand spanking new plane. Nobody has these yet. So I think it's very impressive at $139. I think it's a steal. It's the best beginner plane I've flown. I've demonstrated it. You've seen how solid it is, even with complete hands off, cruising around at 45% throttle, just inputting aileron, being able to, even in beginner mode, to turn your make the turns tight enough that you can fly it in a small area. With the stock battery at sub 70 grams all up weight, and you're going to get about, just cruising around like that for a beginner, you're probably going to get, I don't know, somewhere between 12 to 15 minutes flight time, leaving 3.6 volts in the cell. Highly efficient little brush motor and prop on there. So I don't know if that link, there's a two battery version and a 3 battery version. I have the 2 battery version. I don't know if that coupon code is only for the 2 battery version or if it's also applicable to the 3 battery version. But test it for both if you're going to buy it. I would test it with the 3 battery version first, because there's only $2 difference between the 2 battery version and the 3 battery version. So I would recommend getting the 3 battery version, because if you buy the battery separately, it's going to cost a lot more than $2. And it's really nice having 3 batteries for this, because you're talking about almost, you know, somewhere between 35 to 45 minutes of flight time with the 3 batteries. So even if it only brings it down to $114, I think it's a steal for the 3 battery version at $141.99, $142. I think it's free shipping, if I'm not mistaken. And you can't go wrong with this. The best beginner plane I've flown to date. Alright, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the air.